What's up, everybody? On today's show, we will get into the SEC Preseason Poll that came out over the weekend. We'll run through how the media voted in predicting the upcoming SEC season. Also, some more interviews from last week at SEC Media Days, including Tennessee defensive lineman Omari Thomas and Kentucky O-lineman Eli Cox. The Locked On SEC starts right now.
You are Locked On SEC, your daily podcast on the Southeastern Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what's happening, everybody? Welcome into Locked On SEC. It's great to have you guys along. I'm Chris Gordy. Thanks for making Locked On SEC your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, covering your team every day. All right, let's jump into it. Let's go around the conference.
Boots out to the right. Takes the handoff. What a catch!
Around the conference.
And we start with the preseason poll that came out on Friday afternoon, coming from the SEC, as all the voting was done. And basically, Georgia, no surprise, predicted to win the SEC championship according to the preseason poll of media covering SEC football media days. Georgia received 181 votes to be crowned the SEC champion in December in Atlanta. Alabama, they were second with 62 votes. LSU came in third. Georgia was selected to win the SEC East with over 2,000 points, including an overwhelming 265 first-place votes. Tennessee was picked second in the East with over 1,600 points, 14 votes to win the division. South Carolina was third with 1,200 points. Alabama, they were picked to win the SEC West, but that one was much closer. They got 1,899 total points, while LSU came in second with 1,838. So LSU got a lot of first-place votes to win the West. Talking with people all last week at SEC Media Days, it was basically 50-50. Almost everybody I talked to said, who are you picking to win the West? A lot of people said LSU. A good number of people said Alabama. I think what a lot of folks did was ultimately, if it was a 50-50 thing, they just looked at where this year's game is being played. It's in Tuscaloosa. So I think some people just kind of deferred to saying, well, it's Nick Saban in Alabama. They had a quote-unquote down year last year with 2 losses. Most people expect them to bounce back because historically that's what Alabama typically does in the Nick Saban era. Texas A&M, they were picked to finish third in the polling. Only 9 times since 1992 has the predicted champion prior to the season at SEC Media Days actually gone on to win the SEC championship game. So in the past 31 years, only 9 times has the media got it right. What does that mean? Well, it's probably not going to be Georgia and Alabama and Atlanta. It's just, if we're going off of what history tells us, that's kind of where we are. Now, I'll give you my predicted order of finish. I had a little flip that LSU winning the West. I had LSU 1, Alabama 2, Texas A&M 3, Ole Miss 4, Arkansas 5, Mississippi State 6, Auburn 7. So I had a little bit flipped. The media had Auburn finishing 6th and Mississippi State 7th. I just kind of went with, I think Auburn's going to go, the more and more I ran through it, I think, worst, Auburn goes 6-6, but, they 6-6 still finishes dead last in the West. I just think that schedule with Hugh Freeze and company, I think it's going to take them a couple weeks to get that chemistry going with, with all the new pieces they have through the transfer portal. You look at LSU and Brian Kelly last year, go back to week 1 in that Florida State game, how just bad they played for basically 3/4 of that game. It's because they had so many new pieces trying to develop chemistry with one another. I think Auburn's kind of going to go through some of those growing pains. I don't think they're going to be bad. I just think they're going to go through a lot of growing pains throughout this year, and that's why I've got Auburn. I know a lot of people are going to look at that and go, you got Auburn finishing last in the West? Yes, but I still have them 6-6 going to a bowl game. Some Auburn fans might have them at 7 or 8 wins. I get it. One swing game here or there. The more and more I looked at Mississippi State, I couldn't pick them to finish dead last in the West. Zach Arnett, I know he's an unproven coach. Hugh Freeze has skins on the wall, but they bring back Jaquavius Marks, Tulu Griffin, Will Rogers, all those pieces on the defense. I just looked at the roster and said, I just feel like Mississippi State's a little bit better right now. But we'll see. That's why we play season. We'll see how it plays out. In the East, Of course, I have Georgia winning the East, although, could make a case that Big Tennessee-Georgia game late in the year. It's in Knoxville, so, things go Tennessee's way. They could certainly make a jump, and they could win the East. South Carolina, the media picked them to finish third, Kentucky fourth. I had it flipped. I had Kentucky third, South Carolina fourth. The media had Florida fifth, Mizzou sixth, Vandy seventh. I had those flipped. I had Mizzou fifth, Florida sixth, Vanderbilt seventh. So not a whole lot of change there from the predicted order of finish. But look, it's tough. I mean, I think the only thing consensus you could say right now is Vanderbilt finishing seventh in the East is probably a lock. But I don't think much else is a lock right now. I think everything else is kind of, you can make a case for just about anything else. So we'll see. But that's how the media picked it. They think Georgia, Alabama meeting in Atlanta. We'll see if that happens. The also part of the media voting process, we got our 2023 preseason media days all SEC team. First team, second team, third team. I'm not going to run through the entire teams, but overwhelmingly what kind of stood out, well, Jaden Daniels, first team all SEC quarterback. It's been since the late 80s that LSU had a quarterback make the first team preseason all SEC team. So that was pretty big for them. No surprise, the two best running backs in the conference, Quinshon Judkins and Rocket Sanders, both make the first team offense. Malik Neighbors, the LSU receiver, Ladd McConkey, the Georgia wide receiver, are your two wide receivers. Brock Bowers, of course, first team tight end. And then your old lineman, Will Campbell from LSU, J.C. Latham, Alabama, Amarius Mims, and Tate Ratledge from Georgia, along with Cedric Van Pran at center. On the first team defense, it was three schools. It was LSU, Georgia, and Alabama. Alabama had Dallas Turner and Kool-Aid McKinstry. LSU had Mekhi Wingo, Mason Smith, and Harold Perkins. And all the rest was Georgia, from Michael Williams to Nazir Stackhouse to Jamin Dumas-Johnson, Malachi Starks, Kamari Lassiter, and Javon Bullard. Yeah, we get it. Georgia's defense is really good. So that was the first team offense and first team defense. Just other ones of note, KJ Jefferson, the Arkansas quarterback. He was second team preseason all SEC. And third team was actually a tie. It was Joe Milton at Tennessee and Will Rogers at Mississippi State. I had Will Rogers third team ahead of Joe Milton just because skins on the wall with Will Rogers, but I get it. Cool that they tied. Second team running backs, it was Jace McClellan from Alabama and Kendall Milton from Georgia. Wide receiver notables, Juice Wells, Brew McCoy from Tennessee, Ja'Cory Brooks from Alabama. And making the third team running back was Jarquez Hunter from Auburn, Trevor Etienne from Florida, who I'm a big fan of. And then wide receivers, Jermaine Burton from Alabama and Anais Smith from Texas A&M. So just some names to note there. Obviously, this conference is loaded with talent and hard to pick. Hard to pick a lot of guys on this list. But congrats to all those who did. And certainly going to be a fun season ahead for the 2023 year in the SEC. All right. That is the latest with the preseason polls picked by the media. Coming up next, a couple of our interviews from over at SEC Media Days just a couple days ago. In fact, when we were getting out of town on Thursday, we caught up with Omari Thomas, defensive lineman from the Tennessee Volunteers. That is coming your way in just a sec. Well, first, this episode is presented to you by our friends over at eBay Motors. And look, for a championship team, it is all about making every player making sure every player is a perfect fit. And it's the same when it comes to your car. Every part needs to fit just right. So next time you're looking for an auto part or accessory, you want to make sure you head to eBay Motors. With the eBay Guaranteed Fit, you're going to make sure every part you need fits just right the first time around. You just go to their website, you add your ride under the My Garage section, and you're going to look for the green check to know that that part is going to fit your vehicle or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop at eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you're going to be back in the game in no time. After all, it is easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. So get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices over at ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Motors. Go check them out today. We're along here from SEC Media Days, and good to catch up with the Tennessee Volunteers who are in town, and good to catch up with Omari Thomas, one of the senior leaders of the Tennessee Vols. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing good. Man, it's crazy how much a year can change things. You guys have this, incredible year last year. What was the journey like? I mean, take us a little bit behind the scenes of what it was like going through last year.
It was amazing. You just get a chance to really see how the work you have put in really can be shown on the field. You see the guys buying in. You see the guys just really wanting to be more hungry and not satisfied with what happened last year. So coming in, you got everything going on, and you're just really able to just continue to work. And you want to work and get better and just improve every day.
The defense last year, you had some good moments. You had some moments where things were tough. You lose a couple pieces, but you bring a lot of guys back. Tyler Barron's back there on the defensive line with you. What was kind of the focus of this defense throughout the spring?
What we focused on, we just really focused on being able to affect the quarterback with just 4. We want to be able to improve our pass rush. We understand that those DBs are out there covering, and we want to be able to help them. We feel like we lacked helping them last year, just having to blitz some, and we want to be able to improve. That's something that we prided ourselves on as a defensive line, and Coach G prided himself, just wanted us to improve on being able to impact the quarterback with a 4-man rush.
Outside of yourself, anybody jump out from the spring on the defense that you think, is prime for a big year?
Bryson Eason and Dominic Bailey, those 2 guys. I feel like they're 2 underrated guys on our team that's not really talked about that much. But those are 2 guys that's going to make a bunch of plays for us this year that's really going to help us. And I feel like those 2 guys itself alone will be able to continue to help Tennessee defense just continue to go in the right direction that we're going.
Who's going to have the most sacks this year?
I don't know. I know as a defensive line, we want to have the most sacks.
Rack them up.
Yeah.
All right, talk a little bit about the offense.
Okay,
we saw Joe got in there and got his feet wet at the end of last year. Did a great job. It's now his job. What'd you see from Joe in the spring?
What I saw from Joe is just him continuing to be a leader, him continuing to grow, and just showing everybody who he is, and just showing how much him getting hurt and his whole situation, him being so close to him, them being roommates, and them being actual brothers. It showed how much Joe actually appreciates the game of football, because Joe comes in every day just being happy, just loving on everybody, goofing around. Everybody got handshakes with Joe, and it's a big factor in Joe wanting everyone to know that he appreciates the team just as much as we appreciate him.
The offensive line, bringing in a couple new pieces. John Campbell, big on that O-line, but you bring back a bunch, Cooper Mays and a couple other guys. What'd you see from the offensive line? You firsthand getting to go up against them in the spring.
Yep. What I saw from the offensive line is just a bunch of guys who they're looking to get better every day. They're literally looking to get better every day. They're learning everything. They're learning what the quarterbacks do. They're understanding the offense more. There's always room to grow, especially when you're in systems. It's always itsy-bitsy pieces where you can learn more about and continue to just get better at. And I've seen the offensive line continue to grow and to continue to just get better. And I feel like, you have people like Jerome Carvin, Darnell, those guys who really impacted our offensive line, who were leaders for us on that offensive line. And you get people to come in, and it's just such an amazing feeling where it's like they don't miss a beat. It's able to continue to grow.
It looks like, you lose a couple receivers, but you bring back a bunch of guys and you bring in some new pieces. It's got to be good to have, Bruce back, Ramel, all these guys. It seems like the offense isn't going to miss a beat.
Yeah, that's the main thing we try to do. We just try to create a space where everybody feels comfortable, everybody feels happy, just able to want to go out there and play and just show who they are, show why you came to Tennessee, and just show everybody that it's bigger than us. Everybody on the team, that's our culture, that's our standard. It's bigger than us at Tennessee, and it's all about the power team.
We're here in Nashville. You guys get to open the season here against Virginia. Sir. That's kind of cool playing in an NFL stadium, right?
Yeah, it is. It's we've actually played there before.
Yeah.
It went the opposite way that we wanted it to go, but it's a good scenery. You're getting a chance to. It's gonna be a great crowd. Hopefully, it feel like a home game for us. I'm sure it will. But I'm very excited. happy and ready to be back here in Nashville.
And a couple big, nice, with that Virginia and then Austin Peay, and then it's right into the thick of SEC play going on the road at Florida. Yep. That's always an important one. Do you like that it's kind of early in the season?
Yeah, I like it. It could be whenever. We just we just go game by game, week by week, one at a time.
Yeah.
That's something that we just do. We go 1-0. We want to go 1-0 every week. That's our record. At the end of the season, we want to be 1-0.
Quick thought on Coach Heupel. How much do you enjoy playing for a guy like that?
I love it. I don't think it really gets better than Coach Heupel. He's a true players coach. He's a true person who actually wants the best for everyone on the team, in the locker room, the coaches, the coaching staff he's put together, all the player development people, everyone, the recruiting people, everybody is a true family. Like, I could walk through the facility and just know I'm going to be able to talk to somebody in the facility. Like, there's no walking right past each other. So I enjoy it so much, and I'm just very happy.
Last thing for you, when Omari Thomas is not playing football, what are you doing?
I'm watching YouTube, watching streams, watching Twitch, playing video games. Just
what games do you play?
I play Fortnite some. I play FIFA, MLB. Okay. So I try to switch it up.
No Call of Duty?
Play football. I play Call of Duty a little bit, not too much.
What are you watching on YouTube?
It's a streamer. His name is Calcinet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you watch somebody else play video games?
Yeah. Man. Not necessarily. He doesn't play video games.
Oh, okay.
Really. He reacts to videos or stuff like that.
So you're watching videos of somebody reacting to doing something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's chill. It's real chill.
I love the chain, by the way.
Thank you.
Is that special just for this?
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, Omari, great to talk with you, man. Best of luck this season, and we appreciate the time, dude.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Run along here from SEC Media Days, and Kentucky rolling in, and a guy who's going to be playing, of course, on that offensive line is Eli Cox. Welcome in, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Pleasure being here.
Good to have you. I talked with Devin Leary just a couple weeks ago at the Manning Passing Academy, and talked about how excited he is to get the season going. And he talked about some of the selling points that Coach Stoops had for him. Obviously, bringing back Liam Cohen was big, but he, outside of the pass catching weapons, he said kind of fixing and retooling this offensive line and getting it going for 2023. He thinks you guys are going to be a big strength of the team this year.
Yeah, I think that's something, has been a strength for Kentucky for so many years under Coach Stoops. And, we want to get back to playing that physical brand of football this offensive line is used to. And that's just being able to be a consistent, disciplined group and building that continuity within one another. And we've got a lot of talent out of the portal. The portal's changed a lot of things with the dynamics of the room. So we're excited to have our guys in and have that room set for the season and looking forward to training camp, just trying to get as many reps as we can with everybody.
Talk a little bit about the addition of guys like Marcus Cox and Cortland Ford. Obviously, they step in and can help immediately, but getting Kenneth Horsey back and some of the other guys, y'all have a really strong group.
I think we have a really veteran group. Some of the names are new, but Cortland is going to go into, I think it's his third year, and Marcus is going into his sixth. And Kenneth, obviously coming back for his 6th year, has been a team captain. He's been a 3-year starter for the school. And then I'm coming back for my 3rd year as a starter, my 5th year. So I think we've got just a lot of veteran presence in the room, be it new faces or old faces. But I think that just the veteran presence and the experience is going to be the biggest thing for us.
Losing Chris Rodriguez stings a little, but you guys get a very proven, not just running back, but an SEC running back, and Ray Davis coming over from Vanderbilt. What'd you see out of him so far?
I think Ray's just a really talented back. He plays with a chip on his shoulder. He runs with low, violent pads, and he's also been a great leader. He's someone who stepped in as a veteran presence in the running back room. Like I said, he's a new face, but a veteran face, and I think his experience and the things he can add to that room have just been huge to not just for him and having his talents, but bringing up the younger guys as well.
I was surprised to see Tavion Robinson decide to come back for another year too. Him combined with Dane Key, Berrien Brown, these young guys that really had an impact in year one. This looks like one of the better receiving corps you guys have had in a long time.
Yeah, I think our receiving corps is going to be a huge strength for this team. And, just having talented and consistent faces for a quarterback to throw the ball to is just huge. They're all going to be very comfortable with each other, and Devin knows they're going to be in the right spot, and he'll get them the ball at the right time, and we're going to protect for him. So I'm really excited for the potential of this offense.
Who stood out on the defensive line going up against throughout the spring, guys that maybe gave you a trouble or two?
I think just Deion Walker coming back for his second year. I mean, he was a very talented freshman. Just his size alone is something that's hard to deal with. He's like 6'8", 350 or something like that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a prototypical SEC body. I mean, he's got the frame to play on Sundays, and I think him continuing to build on just the skills along with his size, having the feel for the game, being able to feel where offensive line's pressure is coming from and fighting against it, something he's only improving on and playing with length. He's a really talented football player. I'm excited to see what he can do come this year and next year before he declares for the draft, surely.
And you get J.J. Weaver for like his 18th year coming back, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, me and JJ came in together in 2019, and so I've known him for a long while. Going into year 5 with him, I'm just excited to see his development. I mean, he's got all the tools. He's a long, rangy outside linebacker for us, and he'll play that spot into the boundary and set the edge for us. I'm excited to see him flourish this year.
Some young guys got some experience in that secondary last year. What did you see from them throughout the spring?
Yeah, I just think just the reps. I mean, you can't replace experience with anything else. So we had a young core, and we'll have a young core this year, but just getting as many reps as they can in the spring. And we brought in some transfers with JQ Hardaway, Jansen Dunn, and I'm sure there's a few more I'm missing. We brought in a lot of DBs, but I'm excited to see them play and just build that continuity together.
I mentioned it a little bit, but bringing back Liam Cohen, how excited are you guys on the offensive side? Nothing against Rick Scangarello. He did a good job, but Liam just really brought this offense to another level 2 years ago. You got to be excited to have him back.
Yeah, I mean, we're absolutely excited. I mean, we had a very great offense in 2021 with him, and just having another year with a coordinator that I'm familiar with. You know, we've had some turnover in that division since I've been at UK, but just having a familiar face back in the building who knows how to run this offense and just the relationships he has with the players, I think a lot of guys will go to bat for him every day, and we'll fight and play hard for him.
What'd you see out of Devin so far?
I just think his touch and accuracy is just fantastic. I mean, he can throw the football wherever he wants on the field, and he'll put it on the right spot at the right time every time.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see what he does. And obviously, a lot of skins on the wall. I mean, he played a lot of football at NC State, and he comes in, and it's hard to replace a guy like Will Levis when you're talking about. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that you guys were having to play a wide receiver at quarterback. Like it was getting tough there. But now to go from Will Levis to Devin Lear, I mean, absolutely just solidifying that quarterback spot.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a spoil of riches having those guys come in one after another. And, you know, it's an interesting dynamic being the leader of a team, but coming in as a transfer. And I think both of those guys have done a fantastic job of juggling that responsibility as being a leader, but not stepping on people's toes as a new guy. You know, it's hard to do and find that balance, but I think they've done that tremendously.
Do you like how the schedule sets up? Obviously, you get Ball State first, but I don't want to say tune-up games, but a couple games to get things figured out before you guys dive headfirst into SEC play.
Yeah, I think that's essential. You know, I mean, the stakes are high every single game, and the most important game for us is always the next one. But, you know, being able to have those opening games is important, and you can call them tune-ups, but we're excited to play. I mean, this offense has something to prove this year, and I think we're really excited to do that week in and week out.
You get Florida and Lexington. That's always been a big one. A few years ago, we had Benny Snell here, and he told us we're beating Florida, and it happened. So I don't know. Just putting it out there. If you want to say it, you can put it in the atmosphere. But Benny Snell made it happen. So no, I'm just kidding. But that's a big one for you guys.
Yeah, it is. It's a big one every year. I mean, those SEC East games have always kind of sparked into rivalries of their own. And, you know, Florida's been a tough game for Kentucky, and we're always excited to play them. And we've had some recent success, and we're looking to keep building on that.
Okay, what were you doing outside of football? What'd you do this offseason?
Played a lot of golf this offseason. I've tried to get into it. I realized I needed a hobby. You know, I was going home from football, and we would just kind of hang out and do nothing. Yeah. And then I'd come to stuff like this, and people ask, "So what do you like to do outside of football?" I was like, "Oh shoot, I don't really have anything other than just watching some TV and hanging out with friends." So we started the offensive line, started picking up some golf. We're not very good, but it's a lot of fun.
What's your strength?
I would say the short game, if I had to pick. I mean, it's not necessarily strong. You know, like the strength isn't that strong in the golf game. I've only been playing for about a year and a half, but I broke 90 this offseason, so that was huge. Yeah.
You got your own set of clubs and everything?
Yeah, I swing the Titleist AP1s. They're used. I'm going to get fitted here soon. It's getting a little more serious.
Nice. I was just in Scotland at St. Andrews.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My wife asked if I wanted to play the course. I'm like, I'm not ready for that. No, but just seeing it in person was really cool.
I mean, yeah, they got bunkers taller than I am. So
it's ridiculous. What about Keeneland? Did you go to Keeneland?
Yeah, we went to Keeneland a few times. We went with Devin actually one time and his girlfriend. So it was exciting. You know, Keeneland's always a great time, and it's a good place to get the guys together and all just hang out.
Yeah, he said he had some good food there. What's your favorite restaurant spot in Lexington?
Favorite restaurant spot? Dad's Favorites. Deli is probably the number one lunch spot. It's the best sandwiches. You got to get in there early. It's 11 to 3 on weekdays.
Yep.
And you got to go on Thursday and Friday for the Rushmore.
Devin, I asked him. He was telling me all the steakhouses. I'm like, man, you're rolling in some deep circles there if you're going to steakhouses.
Oh yeah, we got quite a few steakhouses. I mean, Tony's, Ruby's, Malone's. I mean, you name it, we got it.
You got any NIL deals you got going on?
No, I mean, we're working a lot with our collective, but
Okay.
so they kind of put some stuff together. I started to deal with Marksbury Farms in Lancaster, Kentucky. It's where my parents live now, so
Nice.
I would do some posts for them, and in return, to get a lot of grass-fed ground beef.
Oh, very cool. Will went as far as he did a deal to get his own horse. You want to do that?
I mean, if someone wants to do that for me, that'd be great, but I don't know if I have the same market as Will did.
Okay, well, we're going to get it out there. Eli Cox needs a racehorse, and we'll follow it, and we'll get into the Derby and all that down the road. Last thing, just biggest thing you're looking forward to this season?
I think just playing with a chip on our shoulder at Kentucky. You know, we have a lot to prove as an offense. You know, we didn't play to our standard last year, and we're looking forward to just building the consistency and the discipline that this team's been known for and bringing that back to the forefront of our program.
I didn't ask you, what do you like most about Coach Stoops? I mean, every time I meet the guy, I love him. I know you guys always play hard for him, and man, he's really turned not turned it around, but really developed stability for the program.
Yeah, I mean, all the players. The best thing about Coach Stoops is a player's coach to a T. I mean, everything he does, every decision he makes is centered around the players and what would be best for us. So when you have a coach that does that, you want to play a little extra hard for him, knowing that he's taking care of you.
You like playing in the snow?
I mean, we don't get an opportunity to do it often, but it's fun. I wish we could more often. You know, we got away games in the South. We don't get to see it much, but it would be fun.
We went up there for the LSU game a couple years ago. It didn't snow, but it was damn cold. I don't know how you guys play that.
Yeah, it was freezing cold when we played Georgia this year, and Vanderbilt was in the snow too. So there's a little bit of snow, which was fun.
You guys always play Georgia tough. It's crazy. Those guys, it's like, I don't know what it is. You guys just have their number somehow.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to win that game too. So, I mean, we're tired of playing close and getting more victories. We want to – I mean, they're the ceiling of the SEC East, and that's the team we're all looking to beat. They've got a target on their back because of the success in that program. They run well. But, you know, we're excited to play those types of teams. That's what makes the SEC so fun is you get to play elite football teams like that every single week.
Eli Cox, Kentucky Wildcat, thanks so much for the time, man.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On SEC. Our thanks again to Omari Thomas from Tennessee and Eli Cox from Kentucky, two really good dudes, and wishing them the best of luck with the upcoming season. That's going to do it for this edition of Locked On SEC. Thank you guys so much for making us your first listen every day. And a reminder to our everydayers, keep checking us out every day. Tomorrow on the show, we'll have some more great content. All this week, you're going to hear from some great SEC analysts. Tony Barnhart will have on the show, Cole Kublik, and much, much more. We'll also have a couple other players you may have missed, so you do not want to miss that all this week on Locked On SEC, continuing to get you guys ready for the upcoming 2023 season. I'm Chris Gordy. This has been Locked On SEC. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.